the fans that you got these contract extensions locked up between Jordan and Andrew?
Well, number one, it's yet another example of our ownership being committed to winning at the highest level. Joe and Peter have just year in and year out consistently put us in a position to win. And they've spent more money than any ownership group in the history of the league. So the commitment starts from the top, and then it goes down through the whole organization. For me as a coach, there's nothing better than seeing someone rewarded for their efforts, for their work. Obviously, this is life-changing for Jordan and his family. And you feel proud, you feel happy for him, his family, for all those nights he came in here working and working and working. They paid off. And for Wiggs, it's similar. I mean, he's obviously already coming off a big contract, but he's just come here and adapted to our style and done everything we've asked, everything to help us win a championship last year. It's great to see him rewarded as well. So it's a really good day for our franchise.
Steve, in 2019, you probably never imagined you'd be here with Jordan. What is that like to watch that guy who you drafted to the guy you're signing now?
Pretty remarkable. And you're right. I never would have guessed it. His rookie year, he was lost, frankly. But most rookies are, the game's different. The pace is different, the athleticism. What I admired about JP from the start was his understanding of how much work it would take to get where he wanted to go. And, I think his rookie season was the pandemic season, if I'm not mistaken. Just a bizarre year in so many regards, but it gave him, in a weird way, perspective, because he really struggled those first 60 games or whatever it was that we played. And then we didn't even make it to the bubble. And when the gym was finally opened back up, he was first guy here, and he was here every single day. So it's almost like he was able to sit back and take in that abbreviated rookie year, understand, where he was, and get to work. And that's exactly what he did.
Jordan says the things that he leans on are his faith and having mental toughness. How, regarding the mental toughness side, can you tell when a player has it or not? I mean, we're talking about a 23-year-old who kind of has been through a few things and does seem like a tough individual. How does that project to you?
Well, some of the things I just talked about, the work ethic, but also fearlessness. Jordan's always been a guy who has supreme confidence. So he doesn't let a bad game affect him the next game. He doesn't let a bad start affect him the rest of the game. He keeps working, but he believes in his talent, and it's fun to watch.
Kind of similar to Marcus's question on Jordan, Andrew, Bob was up here saying how when that trade was made to bring Andrew here, that was another guy that he didn't necessarily expect to have this kind of extension waiting for him. What's it been like to see a guy who before arriving here was labeled all a bunch of different things, but has found a home here now?
Yeah, I mean, every player has his own journey, unique to himself, and every one of these guys has immense pressure on them, whether you're the 15th man trying to make the team or you're the number 1 draft pick trying to prove to people that, you should have been that pick. And for Wiggs, that was the pressure early on. So for him to come here and have the individual and team success that he had hoped for a long time just makes you happy, because he's such a good human being, good teammate. And for most of the players in the league, almost all of them, everything is circumstantial. There are a handful of guys like Steph or LeBron, Giannis, who are going to be great no matter where they are. But for most of the league, it's you sort of have to find a good spot. And I think Wiggs found a good spot. It's been great for him, and it's been great for us. So wonderful to see the extension.
In your experience, and I know a lot of players say if a deal doesn't get done at the start of the season, put it off out of your mind, focus on the season. But have you ever seen, I mean, just what kind of effect does it have on a player to be able to get a deal like this done before the season starts and not having it hang over your head, even if it doesn't come up again until the latter portion of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I never had a deal like this, so, as I observe, I think every player's different, and then that's what's fun about coaching is you see how each player handles different circumstances. So I've seen players feel pressure to live up to a contract. I've seen players relax and play because they know they've got their deal done, and everything in between. So it's I think with Jordan's case, he's supremely confident. In Wiggs's case, he's confident and comfortable where he is. So I think this allows each of them to just go out and play to their potential.
Steve, you talked about like having to find a spot. In Wiggins' case, can you kind of sense that he's found it? Is there anything about his disposition that, okay, he's found a home and he feels good? Is that something you can kind of feel and see with him?
Like why it's a good spot for him?
Like, is anything about him different now that he's found this spot? From the guy who came here to the guy who's here now, is there any discernible difference?
No. Wiggs is he's very stoic. He's not a guy to show a ton of emotion. Now there's plenty of it in there, but like Clay, he's not going to generally show a whole lot of emotion. If things aren't going great. So what I see with Wiggs is just a comfort level with his daily routine and our style. The way we play is very different from the way he played the first 5 years of his career, 6 years, whatever it was. So he just looks relaxed and ahead of the game compared to when he first got here, when he had to sort of figure out how we played. He's now very comfortable in it because he's got a couple of years of work within the style.
Now that Jordan and Andrew have their deals out of the way, what kind of strides do you envision them making on the court this season?
Well, for Jordan, I'm going to keep talking to him about his defense because I want him to play big minutes. He's earned this contract. He's earned every penny. But I reminded him last year in the playoffs, I think he played 17 or 18 minutes a game. So I want to play him 32 minutes. But that can only happen if he continues his progression as a player on the defensive end. And, for Wiggs, he's in a great spot. He's established himself, I think, really well as a great two-way player. And he just has to keep doing what he did a year ago, especially in the playoffs. We want him to rebound. He rebounded so well in the postseason. I'd like to see more of that in the regular season, but other than that, continue to knock down shots and take on the opposition's best offensive player and go from there.
Jordan said that Andrew was the guy who he just immediately clicked with when Andrew came to San Francisco. What have you observed from their friendship and just the rapport that those two guys have together?
I think they're in a similar boat in that they weren't part of the original championship core. They arrived around the same time. They are really key players who have had to find their way with the older group, and that's not an easy thing to do. So I think they share that in common, and they just really like each other. They're friends. They joke with each other. Comfortable around one another. They play well together. They complement each other. So fun to watch them out there together.
Steph is still obviously like the undeniable leader of this team, and he will be for the years going forward. But Jordan is a big part of the future, and even Wiggs, like he's in his prime, he's 27. How are you just seeing the team kind of take on like a new form or like start I don't know if I want to say it's like starting a new chapter or like extending on previous chapter, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, as the coach, I'm really only focused on this year, but you know, at the back of my mind for sure, I want JK and Wise to continue their development, and Moses, and you can kind of look out and see that we've got some good young talent, and that we've got a chance to be good for a while. But at the same time, it's like there's no point in looking for me to look ahead 2-3 years from now. This is really about what we need to do this year, and those guys are obviously a huge part of that.